Hello, gang. Welcome to Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show. We are here in Charlottesville, Virginia, broadcasting out to the universe. Tonight's show is going to be mostly focused around New York City and New York City songs. Thank you so much for joining. Let's take a look inside the traveling suitcase and see what we got here. Yes, tonight's show is going to be about New York, New York. Let's put on some music as people gather. Thanks for coming out to the show tonight. Got a special guest, Seth Glier, coming around 8. And I'm looking forward to seeing Seth. He's an old friend. He's remotely somewhere in Massachusetts. He's not actually going to be here physically, but we're going to hang. All right, I'm going to put on some music as people gather. Thanks for coming out tonight. It's good to see y'all. Bought this hat at Target tonight. Give it a little more pizzazz. Hey Leanne, thanks for coming. How is Maine? Rachel, good to see you in Washington State. Been looking forward to this show. Ruth Ann from Norman, Oklahoma. Good to see you. You guys enjoy the music? I'll be right back. And we'll start her up. We're going to start in a couple minutes as the crowd gathers in. Good evening, y'all. Dawn, this one's for you. Jackie, Megan, Thomas, Norman, Oklahoma, Ruth Ann. It's good to see all you guys tonight at Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show. We're going to do about an hour or so of music. I recognize as I was preparing for the show that I have well over a dozen songs that mention New York. Some are specifically about New York. and some are just sort of in passing. So we're going to do quite a few of those tonight, a couple covers, and bring in my dear friend Seth Glier tonight to sing some songs as well for us. But I'm going to start out with a song because we're in this troubled time that I put on an album that I did with Vance Gilbert. The song is called The Only Way. And hello, Marathon, New York. It was written by, not by me, but by Mark Orelli. But it appears on my album with Vance Gilbert called what is the name of that album? Side of the Road. Here we go. I read the papers, I watch the news. Seems there's only pain and suffering, there ain't much that I can do. It's so senseless, I feel defenseless, so small. I can lock my windows, bolt my doors, but if I don't feel safe enough to speak my mind anymore, then what's the use? There's nothing left to lose, no further to fall. So I'm gonna love, gonna believe, gonna dream, gonna roll up my sleeves, give everything until there's nothing left to give. That's the only way I know how to live. It was a nightmare, no tongue could tell how the streets of New York City looked just like the gates of hell. In a flash, smoke and ash came pouring down like rain. They circled wagons, they gathered around, and bravely pulled their brothers, their sisters from the ground. And I know that I owe them more than I'll be afraid. So I'm gonna love, gonna believe, gonna dream, gonna roll up my sleeves, give everything until there's nothing left to give. That's the only way I know how to live. I will not tell you what to believe. I'm too young to be so cynical, too old to be naive. But every action breeds a reaction. Let this be mine. I'm gonna love, gonna believe, gonna dream, gonna roll up my sleeves, give everything until there's nothing left to give. That's the only way I know how to live. I'm gonna love, gonna believe, gonna dream, gonna roll up my sleeves, give everything until there's nothing left to give. That's the only way I know how to live. The first of many many New York City songs here tonight on Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show. Thank you. I'm filming from Charlottesville, Virginia, where I live and have lived for the last 15 years or so. I am happy to live down here. It's a beautiful area, but I'm from Maine originally, lived in Boston for 20 years. Still consider myself to be a New England, Boston, Maine kind of guy. And but I also feel like New York City has played such a major role in my life and in my my career and in my romantic life and my romantic vision of my life that it seems like I've written more about New York than any single entity of a place. I'm going to do another song for you here. It's a song I really only have played out a couple times. I wrote it with a guy named Mike Clem. Let's see what the Storyteller Suitcase here has for us. Of course, tonight again is songs about New York City. We're doing songs from New York, taking a look at places we've been to in New York. This song is called Empire State. It's about the history of the Empire State Building. It was inspired by Good Morning America, how are you? Don't you know me? I'm your native son. I am the train they call the city of New Orleans. Be gone 500 miles till the day is done. I wanted to write a song about a non-human thing from the perspective of that non-human thing. So I ended up choosing the Empire State Building. So this is a song from the perspective of the Empire State Building, which is a remarkable accomplishment, the Empire State Building. It was built in 1929. The cornerstone was laid right around the same time that the stock market crashed. It was a similar scary time for people back then that we are in now, financially anyway. And but lo and behold, all these people came in to work on the building. And it was built in a record amount of time because people were working 24 hours around the clock. And people were so desperate to work, they were willing to take those midnight shifts and those dangerous jobs. And they had Irish immigrants and Italian immigrants and Mohawk Indians working on it. So it's a remarkable story, that building. Governor DuPont was with Pittsburgh Steel, that's right. Governor DuPont was the principal in making it happen. Steel and girders, they laid my cornerstone in 29. President Hoover threw the switch and the sky was mine. Crowds came lining up Fifth Avenue, Mr. DuPont in his top hat smiling. Our cameras kept flashing, Wall Street was crashing, but the Empire State's come rising, rising. On the Tower of Babel, you need stories, man, I got stacks. I rose up from the gravel, the crack of a hammer, the stutter of a jab, and I prayed on Black Sunday for a ticker tape parade. I'm an American story, that's how the Empire State was made. Mohawks on I-beams, only sky on the 100th floor. Italians in blue jeans, Irishmen who came here for more. Swinging hammers at halfway jazz, cause it's better than the old bread line. These night shift gypsies see the lights of Poughkeepsie through the clouds where the steel beams climb. On the Tower of Babel, you want stories, man, I've got stacks. I rose up from the crowd, the crack of a hammer, through the gorilla that? I rose up from the gravel, the crack of a hammer, the stutter of a jab, and I don't know what will come tomorrow. I'm standing strong today. I was forged in steel. I'm the king of the newsreel. That's how the Empire State's gonna stay. Y'all, that was a song called The Empire State. From the perspective of the Empire State Building, originally called DuPont's Folly because they built it, and of course it was supposed to be used as an office building, and it remained empty for the majority of the Great Depression because no one could afford to buy office space. But the world was changing dramatically, and by the 1940s, certainly after World War II, it started making tons of money, and it's a remarkable building. And if you've never been in there, more than gorillas have been to the top. A lot of people get proposed to on the top. When Harry met Sally, I believe. Am I right? Do you remember that? Anyway, it's great to revisit again the Empire State Building, and that little gorilla there happily climbing to the top. Let's take a look at another song here. So I'm going to do a song here. It's called Conversation with a Ghost. Really brief. I'm just going to get that focus right. Is that any better? That's even worse. Sometimes this camera doesn't know what to focus on because there we go. Thank you. This song is literally about a conversation with a ghost. Through the facts, if you will, of a Ouija board. I never wanted to put Ouija in the song. After all, what rhymes with Ouija other than squeegee or Fiji, and that would just pull it out of context. So I didn't bring up the details. It's all a mystery, really. But the events that surround the song are true. One of my best friends, Vance Gilbert, was there to witness the whole thing. So this was, let me see, what have I done wrong here? This is called Conversation with a Ghost. I'll quit talking. I'll respond to you in letters. I'm sorry, so slow, sorry, so few. In a nutshell, I'm much better. So far, the complaints I hear of you, they're few. So how have you been? Have you been to the races? Did you take my mother as your sister in braces? Wish I could have been there to see you through. Hear all those things you told me once, still true. Do you remember that time it was cold in the park? You were running a race, I was there on a lark. So who would have thought that New York could be such a small town? How have you been? Have you been to the races? Did you take my mother as your sister in braces? Wish I could have been there to see you through. Hear all those things you told me once, still true. Now Margaret is tired, let's let her get some sleep. She's bored with these letters that count her sheep. So goodbye, love, goodbye, love. How have you been? Have you been to the races? Did you take my mother, your sister in braces? Wish I could have been there to see you through. You know, all those things you told me once, are they true? Still true. True. All right, that was Conversation with a Ghost. It's from my album Say Something, released way in the Wayback Time Machine of 1992. My God, that sounds like a long time ago. And Patty Griffin sang background vocals. It was produced by Bill Morrissey. Johnny Cunningham played beautiful Celtic fiddle on it. Oh my God, that song came out so beautifully. Got lucky on that one, folks. But you choose the right people to play with you, and it makes a huge difference. Good to have you guys here. Welcome to Les Paul's Travel and Medicine show tonight. Our focus again is on songs from New York City. If you're just arriving, we're going to be doing just songs that I have from New York City, maybe a couple cover songs and the like, and certainly the songs of mine that are important with New York as a backdrop. Conversation with a Ghost is about a dear friend of mine, Allison Higgins, who passed away. She's the person that gave me my first guitar back in the 90s, and she had leukemia and sadly passed away. But there was a Friday night, the day after Thanksgiving, where I was running what was then the Kinney Foot Locker Northeast Regional Cross Country Championships in Van Cortlandt Park in New York City. And we'd spent, my family and I had spent Thanksgiving in Maine. And then we drove down to New York for me to run this race. It was a national qualifier, and Allison showed up with her brother Tim and surprised me, and I loved her. She was a very, very important person in my life, and so that song is her in her memory and honor, and always a pleasure to sing. And it's good to see you guys here. Welcome to New York Night. Some of you might not be getting out much, so I thought this might be a good thing to do for you, get you in the mood for things. I'll do this song next. This one is called Angel in Manhattan, one of my most popular songs back in the day, especially when it was written. This is the Angel Fountain in Central Park, closest thing I could find to an angel in Manhattan photograph, but there it is. By the way, guys, if you'd like to purchase the Storyteller Suitcase, all this stuff is in here. I'm going to go through this quickly because I've done it 1,000 times. 2 golden tickets to any Ellis Paul show when the pandemic goes away and the stores the venues come back alive. It's got a journal in it, a blank journal for you to put music and your own stories in. The deluxe version of the Storyteller Suitcase. Say no more. USB guitar with 320 Ellis Paul songs. Everything I've ever recorded is on this, officially recorded. And then, of course, last but not least is the Storyteller Suitcase pen with all sorts of things: a compass, a light, a screwdriver, a cell phone holder. Good Lord, it's just there's so much in there. So put all this stuff back. All that comes in the suitcase, and you just go to the website if you want it. That's what you do. All right. I can see my friend Seth Glier waiting in the wings. Hello, Seth. I'll bring you in here in a minute, all right? Probably do just 2 songs, then bring you in. This song is a fictional song about an angel that falls into Manhattan. She can't fly anymore. And the guy that tries to save her brings her around town to the mayor to talk to her. A taxi cab driver shows up in the song. That's Harry Chapin in my mind. I wanted to honor him in this song, so I gave a little Easter egg there. Long story short, it's truly about a street performer named Baby D, who I met in New York City on a tough night in my life. And he kind of saved me that night. This goes out to him. Tell the man who repairs the wings for angels, the one has fallen among the mortals on Bleecker Street. I lent a hand. She looked up at the steeples as if to blame them for the pavement beneath my feet. Floated up over the traffic. She turned the radio static. She sang to him the Billie Holiday sweet voice. Spread the news. There's an angel in Manhattan. Call out the paparazzi, call out the television crew. Let the people choose. With little faith come the harmony. Print the headlines up in the New York Daily News. It was just another day, like any other day, a Tuesday afternoon. I hailed a cab. A crowd gathered as it pulled beside us, and somebody tore at her wings, but I helped her safely inside. I'm much obliged, she said, but the driver, he looked shaken. He said, you're faking a lady who's taking who for a ride. But then we floated up over the traffic. She turned the radio to static, and she sang to him with Billie Holiday's sweet voice. Spread the news. There's an angel in Manhattan. Call out the paparazzi and the television crew. Let the people choose. With little faith come the harmony. Print the headlines up in the New York Daily. It was just another day. Hey, what will the mayor say? Good afternoon. We flew down the length of Fifth Avenue, and she threw out miracles. It was a hysterical ride. And if the crowd on the sidewalk looked skeptical, well, she took the blue right out of their cynical eyes. It's all in what you feel inside. She shook the mayor's hand. He declared that he'd hold a press conference, and the fans and the protesters blocked the stairs to City Hall. I'd like to thank you all, he said. But when she stepped before the cameras, man, it felt like a trial. But she smiled as the questions were called. What do you say to detractors who claim you're just some actor? She said, the question here is, do I believe in you? Spread the news. I saw an angel fly from Manhattan in front of paparazzi, in front of television crews. And me I choose. What a little faith come to harmony. Spread the news in the New York Daily News. Oh, it was just another day, like any other day, like any other day, like every day. All right, y'all. That was Angel in Manhattan from my album Translucent Soul. Happened quite a while ago, and it's one of my best story songs. Probably one of the longest songs ever recorded. Comes in at 6 minutes and 20 seconds. That's a long time. I've got Seth Glier in the wings. I'm going to do one more song, Seth, and then bring you in. Hey guys, if you would, share the show on Facebook. Hit that share sign. Get more people to come in. Let your friends know that we're doing songs about New York, and we're doing things that are, about traveling tonight. I've had quite a few songs about angels. Right now I'm going to do another cover song for you. This one was a beast, the most obvious song that you could think of doing on a night like tonight. This goes out to my hero, really, especially after seeing the video of him singing this, which is just so incredible on YouTube. Let me make sure. I think I have. Oh, there he is. Yeah, Mr. Blue Eyes, right there. Make sure you guys are seeing that. The epitome of New York. I've stood on the sidewalk in the town that he was born in, across the river in Jersey. This one goes out to old Blue Eyes. That's why I'm wearing a blue suit. That's why I'm wearing this crazy hat. And I think I'm going to pull out Guinness for this. Guys, I want to introduce you to Guinness. If you don't know Guinness, it's a Taylor custom guitar. We're going to try this here. I worked on the arrangement, trying to make it into a kind of an Ellis Paul arrangement. There it is, Hoboken, New Jersey. The song was written by John Kander and Fred Epp for Liza Minnelli in the late 70s. And then Frank came in and took it away and made it what it is now. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. I want to be a part of that. New York, New York. These vagabond shoes are longing to stray right to the very heart of it. New York, New York. I want to wake up in the city that doesn't sleep and find I'm king of the hill, top of the heap. These little town blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of that in old New York. If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York. Modulate, New York, yeah, now. These little town blues are melting away. I'll make a brand new start of it in old New York. If I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York. New York, New York. Oh, I don't think I'll ever have more fun than that. There you go. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you again and to Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show every Friday night right here on Facebook Live. Before I bring in our special guest, just a couple announcements. I want to thank you for everyone who's signed up to the Patreon page. That's the best way to support what I do. I want to thank you for the tips to Venmo and PayPal down below as well. And I want to thank you guys for the support. I can't believe I'm surviving a pandemic on folk music, except for this one song, which isn't really folk music at all. I want to thank Old Blue Eyes for making that song the beautiful thing that it is. I'm going to bring in my dear friend Seth Glier now. He's up in Massachusetts, and say hello to him, everybody. Nice. Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Good, good. It's good to see you. I'm hoping that our connection is pretty good here. It looks a little bit dicey, but listen, let's try and see what happens. And Seth and I have been friends for a long, long time. I met Seth when he was all of maybe 17 years old up in Northampton, Massachusetts, and he's like family to me, and I'm thrilled to have him here. He's one of the best songwriters in the country and one of the best performers as well. So I'm going to leave him the house. He's going to do a few songs for you. I hope you guys enjoy him, and take it away, Seth. We'll talk to you afterwards.
I hope my Wi-Fi. It's super humid in Holyoke, Massachusetts, where I am streaming from. So the humidity is slowing our Wi-Fi down tremendously. But I just switched to a computer. This is a song that its origin was in New York City. Shortly after getting my learner's permit to drive, I would take the 4-hour drive from Western Mass into the city. And I had a crush on this girl who lived in the East Village. And really, the long story short is that I took her out to lunch, and then I walked her home, and I drove a very lonely 4 hours back to Massachusetts. And then I made up this song. All right, this is Walk Katie Home. Southbound, concrete canyon town. I've been 100 times before. Bright-eyed for some angel on the east side. I would drive 100 more. 'Cause in my mind I can feel the sun, hear the subway sound below. I can taste the water, I can smell her on my pillow. I may be over my head, I may be out of my mind. There may be skin I can shake, there may be something divine. 'Cause the wind is singing out to that fog, rain is sounding like applause, urging me to drive through the day, just to walk Katie home. Receiving, I keep a watch while you're sleeping. I kiss the hope around your eyes. Unsaid, I lay a hand on the top of your head, be your relief before the fever starts to rise. 'Cause in my mind all the city lights are like burning papers in the dark. I think I would train tonight, wake up on St. Mark's. I may be over my head, I may be out of my mind. There may be skin I can shed, there may be something divine. 'Cause the wind is singing out to that fog, rain is sounding like applause, urging me to drive through the day, just to walk, drive through the day, just to walk, drive through the day, just to walk Katie. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep it in New York a bit and change it up to another writer, a writer that you certainly know. Feel free to sing along at home. It's important for us to sing together even in this time of being apart. Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown. and accepted that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, and you better start swimming, you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Come writers, come critics, prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. For the losers now, later to win, for the times they are a-changing. Come senators, come congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the halls, for he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled, and the battle outside is raging. Soon it shakes your windows and rattles your walls, for the times they are a-changing. Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging. Please get out of the new if you can't lend a hand, 'cause the times they are a-changing. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. Slow on now will later be last, as the present now will later be past, and the odor is rapidly fading, and the first one now will later be last, for the times they are a-changing. Everybody now, for the times they are a-changing. For the times they are a-changing. Well, I'm going to do one more song for you, and this is a brand new song. It was inspired by this article that I read, entitled, the article was entitled "The Coronation," and it was talking about the root word of corona. The origin of that word comes from crown, and proposed this time, though there is going to be hardship, there is going to be great deals of pain. It is also an invitation to all of us to sort of step up to this new world order. And I wanted to try to capture that very dense, heady article into a song. So this is called "The Coronation," and thanks again to Ellis for having me join his live stream. I love Ellis. He has been, his songwriting wheel is in my bathroom. And so every single time I take a whiz, I always learn something. And I encourage you to put that in your bathroom and learn something every time you take a whiz. It's good for you. This is called "The Coronation." When this storm is all over, there's no risk of exposure. Will we still stand where we stood Well, let's get back to business as usual. Can we do the world more beautiful than we ever thought we could? Welcome to the coronation. All creation gets an invitation to the new world order. I'm talking about a liberation from our story of separation, where together we find salvation, love with no borders. It's just around the corner. The crown can come from the ashes, even as the lightning flashes. We can use the sparks to see the myth that fuels our compulsion, that keeps us in perpetual motion, stealing our humanity. Welcome to the coronation, where all creation gets an invitation to a new world order. I'm talking about a liberation from our story of separation, where together we find salvation, love with no border. It's just around the corner. It's just around the corner. A reunion meant for everyone. A reunion meant for everyone. Everyone. Welcome to the coronation, where all creation gets an invitation to a new world order. I'm talking about a liberation from our story of separation, where together we find salvation, love with no border. It's just around the corner. It's just around the corner. I'll meet you around the corner. It's just around the corner. Yeah.
Hey, Seth, that was so great. Thank you so much for
man.
hanging
Thanks
out.
for inviting me in.
So, how are you doing? Fill me in. What's going on with you? Obviously,
Well,
you're in a brand new house, right?
I've made a mortgage payment.
Oh, your first? Congratulations.
Yeah. It's good. We moved in February,
Yeah.
and like you, I started staying home in the middle of March. So the good side is that I've had a lot of opportunity to work on some projects and finish the stairs and do stuff like that. And my
Right.
creative spirit is better than ever. I've really loved the time to reflect and make something from this time. But this has been an interesting week. This has been a tough week for the beating heart.
Yeah, one good thing about being artists in this period of time is we're all gonna emerge empowered and even more committed to creating change in the world. And it's a little hard to do that from your home because all you have is the internet. But these moments are really important, and connecting with people is important. And thank you so much for the bathroom pitch on the Ferris wheel, by the way.
I can't tell you how many songs have been in the middle of being finished, and then I will go into the bathroom and I find like, oh, that's what the bridge means.
All right.
It's a constant redirection for me.
I just wish your penis wasn't in your hand when that moment came to you.
It's not. It's all over the place. That's my wife.
Oh, well, man, I'm so glad you did this. Thank you. I know it was on the fly, but you're my first guest ever on this Friday night show.
Oh, fantastic.
And I'm going to try and bring more and more friends in here to sing for people. And thank you so much for being
And I'll bring you in on mine as well.
Yeah, anytime, man. Just let me know. And
Cool.
It's great to see your face and visit
Right.
with you in
Likewise.
person here. So
All right.
love you too, brother. We'll see you soon. Take care of yourself out there, okay?
Cool.
All right. That was Seth Glier, y'all. Yeah, thanks to Seth for doing this and jumping in. Tonight we are doing songs about New York City. I'm only going to do a few more songs here for you. That's the inspiration tonight. Every Friday night is Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine shows. And we choose either destinations or modes of transportation. It's all about trying to get you guys out of your homes a little bit and traveling on some vacation of the mind. I know we're in a difficult time right now. You would think that the pandemic would be enough, but obviously the world wants more to work on. And I hope you're safe wherever you are. I hope you're feeling frustrated like I am, but inspired to really, really make a change coming out of this. I think we're going to come out of the shoot of this stronger and more committed to making the world a safe and just place, because it certainly isn't right now, by the way things look on the telly. So I'm going to play a couple more songs here, get your mind off things, and you can return to the Fox News CNN feed. And let me see, where did I put that song? They tend to travel, these songs of mine. Midnight Strikes Too Soon, I did that. All right. Maybe I'll do a cover song since I don't seem to have that right here. Let's see. All right, I will. I'll do a cover song. And you can't do your own. Do a song that you've worked on very hard and figure it out. This song is kind of synonymous with New York as well. It's written by Paul Simon. Just wanted to remind you guys as well that I'm going to be doing these, I think, for the rest of the year and into next year and maybe forever. Once a week we'll be doing these Ellis Paul Traveling Medicine shows. So if you're not hearing the song that you wanted that I've written about New York, or you have suggestions of other songs I should be doing, just let me know what they are. And I'll put them in the queue, because we can do another New York show later on in the year, I'm sure. Okay. All right. Mama Pajama rolled out of bed and she ran into the police station. When Papa found out, he began to shout. He started the investigation. It was against the law. It was against the law. What the mama saw, it was against the law. Oh, the mama looked down and spit on the ground every time a name gets mentioned. The papa says, oh, if I get that boy, I'm gonna stick him in a house of detention. Well, I'm on my way. I don't know where I'm going. I'm on my way. I'm taking my time and I don't know where. Goodbye, Rosie, the queen of Corona. You see me and Julio down by the schoolyard. You see me and Julio down by the schoolyard. Take me away, but the press let the story leak. And then the radical priests come to get me released. We's all on the cover of Newsweek. Well, I'm on my way. I don't know where I'm going. I'm on my way. Well, I'm taking my time and I don't know when. A song by good old Paul Simon, one of my favorite songwriters. Man, it's nothing that cat can't do. He can write a little quick ditty kind of pop song, and he can write serious bridge over troubled kind of songs. It's crazy with that guy's talent set. I'm going to do a song here called Midnight Strikes Too Soon. It's one of my most New York of songs. Perhaps the hat should come back on for this one. There's something about the tilt of a hat that's supposed to make you... It's so funny. My grandfather used to wear a hat like this. It had less of a band on it. And he was a dirt potato farmer up in northern Maine, and he used to wear this on a tractor, I think to dress up the moment for himself. And if I don't wear it just right, it goes from Frank Sinatra to a dirt potato farmer in my mind, and it loses all inspiration for me. So we'll see what we got here. Hey, it's good to see you guys here on a Friday night. You're listening to Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine Show. These are songs about traveling. Tonight we are focusing specifically on the Big Apple, singing you songs, things about like the Empire State Building. We already did New York, New York by Mr. Frank Sinatra. We did Angel in Manhattan. This is the Angel Fountain in Central Park. And now we're going to try a song called Midnight Strikes Too Soon. Put the lyrics up here. This is one of the wordiest songs I've ever written. I got to tell you though, I worked really hard on these lyrics. When I wrote it back in like 1996, it's inspired by Kathy Jacketing, who lives in New York. She was my manager's sister, still is, in fact. And she's was a dear friend of mine in that period of time. Couldn't quite get the harmonica part down here. So I'm just going to play a harmonica of another kind. Kathy's hailing a cab like she's hailing a storm in the streets of New York City. Once we're inside, it's a carnival ride that brings a white knuckle kind of dizzy. She takes me up on the rooftop, framed by the backdrop of water tanks and chimneys. She's wrapped around a cigarette, lecturing etiquette while I look in the windows beneath me. We took in Saturday and it was medicine. And when nighttime came, the skyline swallowed the moon. Kathy lays the blame on Thomas Alva Edison. 60 million light bulbs telling New York that it's new. Oh, midnight strikes too soon. Oh, midnight strikes too soon. She says in New York City they throw their wishes into wells, 'cause you can't see a star unless one hit you when it fell. And even you call one, I say, who could you tell in this whole damn town who'd believe you? Well, she smiled like a cat would to a pigeon on a roof. She says, I look in the windows for universal truth. We drank in the moment like whiskey, 100 proof. But if her riot said, she said, I'd tell ya. The view from her roof could make your head just spin. It was like holding up the world in a tablespoon. We drank it down, every light in town, like the sweetest, kindest medicine. Now I made my wish on a satellite dish, but still midnight strikes too soon. Oh yeah, then slow down. She's a hurricane working a skyscraper town. She laughs at me, says I'm suburban bound, but the truth is I live on the highway. I come to the city for the solace of a roof. Every window tells a story in cold hard truth. As the world spins neath me, I ask it for proof. Am I living my life in my own way? Or time is how it's on. Midnight strikes too soon. Midnight strikes too soon. Oh, midnight strikes too soon. All right. What an experiment pulling out these old songs can be. They're like awkward high school friends. Trying to have conversations with them, and get comfortable with the flow of language between the two of you at a high school reunion, Oh, I haven't seen you in 20 years. I forgot what you sounded like. Oh, you've got that story to tell me. I remember that story. Yeah, we lived that together. Wow. Yeah, just the cadence of the story seems to have changed in my memory. And then suddenly, you get in a groove, and then there you are, side by side, and all the magic is happening and whatnot. So that's Midnight Strikes Too Soon. Listen, that's got some of the best lines I've ever written in it. She smiled like a cat would to a pigeon. She smiled like a cat would to a pigeon on the roof. I love that line. She says, I look into windows for universal truth, and we drank in the moment like whiskey 100 proof. But if Orion fell, she said, I'd tell you. That's some of the best writing I've ever done, and I was probably 26, 27 when I wrote this. I remember my journal from that period of time went across 30 pages at least, trying to get everything right for this. I don't think I've ever edited a lyric to a song more than I've done there. So very proud of that moment. I'm just going to do one more New York song for you. And of course, I've got more to sing. I've got, King of 7th Avenue and what else is in here? Well, I've done most of them. But I'm going to do this one, and then we'll do another New York show down the road. Next week, be on the lookout. We'll have another Ellis Paul Traveling Medicine show. I don't have a theme yet to it, but it'll be about travel if there's no specific theme. But I'll announce it next week as I think through the songs. Tomorrow night, I should mention, is the All Request show on Patreon. You just have to be a member of Patreon in order to attend that show, and I hope you guys will consider it. It's the principal place where I'm surviving, and I'm also thriving there. It's where all my new music is going to be released. All my music videos will be released there. All my artwork, and eventually, potentially, this very live stream show, the Traveling Medicine show, might be done there, as well as All Request shows. But we'll see. We'll see how this whole thing evolves through the pandemic. I'm going to do a song called "Did I Ever Know You?" Another song about New York City that I wrote in my 20s. It's nice to revisit these. Did I ever know you? Vance Gilbert, who eventually I will have as a special guest, like I did Seth Glier. And one more time for Seth Glier. You guys can find out more about him on sethglier.com. And I'm going to be throwing a little bit of the tip money here as well to him. So if you want to contribute to Seth's life, you can do that. Let's see. I think it was here. This song is about growing up with someone who lives in New York City now as adults. I don't know about you guys, but do you have that dream of like uprooting from wherever you are and just going to live someplace else for a year, like maybe Paris or Hawaii or the coast of California or Alaska? or maybe down in Ecuador or Costa Rica. Just like say, oh, I think, why don't we, whoever your loved one is, why don't you and I pack our bags and go there? And when I was a kid, I dreamt a lot about living in New York City. I could never pull it off because Boston was where, I was learning how to do with the trade of folk music and write songs. And I just didn't think I could afford to live in New York. But now I'm looking at, like, wouldn't it be cool to do little 3-month stays in places like Homer, Alaska, go there and do Paris in 3 months. And live in a rented brownstone in New York somewhere, or a single room, whatever you can afford. I mean, probably couldn't even afford that, but in the advent of all this internet stuff, maybe that can happen. This is called Did I Ever Know You? So you found yourself a corner apartment with a view of the town all your own. All your friends say the city's gonna kill you or cure you. 5 flights of stairs to your home. Even now, it's changed how you walk in the street, past cabbies and chimney sweeps. Be careful with strangers you speak to. What has this city done to you? Has it taken the small town out of you and turned you into someone I never knew? Did I ever know you? Did I ever know you? Did I ever know you? We were kids in the warmth of the porch light. You'd smuggle out twin cigarettes. We'd blow smoke in the air with typical hometown flair. 2 futures we could not predict. Look at you now, the dreamer with the back porch plan, for the writer and the music man. Our faces on magazine stands. Now what has the city done to you? Has it taken the small town out of you and turned you into someone I never knew? Did I ever know you? 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 All right. Our long traveling journey around the streets of New York City is done with. I'm going to do one more goodbye song. One of my favorite songs written in the last few years by friends of mine. This one was written by David Glazer, of course. Let's take one more trip down the visual trip that we've just taken on. We've gone to New York City for the night. We ventured Angel in Manhattan. We did New York, New York by Mr. Frank Sinatra. We did the song Empire State, song sung from the perspective of the Empire State Building, one of our proudest moments in architectural history as Americans. And we had a beautiful visit from Seth Glier, who came in and did 3 songs. He did a Bob Dylan cover and more. And thank you guys again for hanging out. It's been a real trip hanging out with y'all and through this whole thing. And I hope you'll continue to come back. Tomorrow night is the All Request Show again on Patreon. I hope you'll join me there. If you have a song you want to hear, just shout it out as I'm playing. If I see it in the feed, I'll do it. Or send it in, and I will try and work it up tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow morning. thank you all for the flow of tips that I see coming in. Thank you for supporting my family and the love of my life who's sitting in another room watching CSI probably. Wonder where you are tonight. Wonder if you're driving on a winding concrete river in a raft of glass and steel. The darkness interrupted by a lonely white oasis, a full tank and a coffee, and your bag behind the wheel. Long is the road that lies between us. Many are the days since you've been gone. Baby angel on your shoulder, guide you safely through the night. And may the concrete river bring you home. May the concrete river bring you home. I wonder where you are tonight. I wonder if you're happy. I say my little prayer, send it out across the miles. And I hope you're in a special place with people there that love you. And I hope you'll make it back to them before too long a while. Long is the road that lies between us. Many are the days since you've been gone. May the angel on your shoulder guide you safely through the night. And may the concrete river bring you home. May the concrete river bring you home. Good night, guys. My name is Ellis Paul. This is the Ellis Paul's Traveling Medicine show. And I'm going to leave the music on so you guys can hang out in the lounge and talk to each other, hang out, make some friends. It's always a pleasure to share time with you guys. Tomorrow night, don't forget, it's written there. All request show Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. for Patreon subscribers only. Just look up Ellis Paul on Patreon. You'll see me there. Cheers, guys. Thanks so much. Enjoy the music. This is New York. Don't slow down, keep the ceiling spinning. Did you know that the top of the Empire State Building was going to be a dirigible landing pad? It would drop off passengers at the top of the Empire State Building. They tried it once. It was too windy. They couldn't make it work. Good night, guys. Last call for drinks. You're raising another glass and clink, clinking to the bar stool you sink. I'm watching you alone. All this pretty women here you couldn't read if you could stand on your 2 feet. But you're still on street to street, trying to drink away tomorrow. Was I lying to you? Was I lying to myself? Now I'm lying wide awake. I wanted to run to you, so my eyes could see your face. Someone's lying at my place, so now I'm getting wasted. The first drink makes you, second drink fakes you, 3 drinks you break down, 4 drinks wreck you, 5 someone decks you, 6 drinks wake the town. Was I lying to you? Was I lying to myself? Now I'm lying wide awake. I wanted to run to you, so my eyes could see your face. Someone's lying in my place, so now I'm getting wasted. I'm getting wasted. Wasted. And Johnny Cash, the man in black, was at the Grand Ole Opry, drunk on ambition, whiskey, coffee, was dancing with demons. Nothing could stop him tonight. Tonight, boy, felt like a church. He said a little prayer, ran to the stage, taking 2 and 3 stairs. You could heckle old Johnny, hell, he wouldn't care, 'cause tonight he's gonna kick out the lights, kick out the lights.
Johnny Cash, Johnny Cash, John Cash.
Kick out the lights,
Johnny Cash, Johnny Cash, John Cash.
kick out the lights,
Johnny Cash, Johnny Cash, John Cash.
kick out the lights.
Johnny Cash, Johnny Cash, John Cash.
Now you can play a big theater, chandeliers and pearls, rage inside a stadium, the rows of pretty girls. Still got about 50 people watching the show. Before I say goodnight, guys, I'm already on CNN and MSNBC out there during the break, and it's going to be a crazy weekend. I hope if you're in one of the hot spots, not of the virus, but in the hot spots of all these protests, that you're being safe, and I hope that we can get through this and create a better world. So. That's my wish for us tonight. Music's going to take us there, as well as all these other changes that we need to make. But Ben, what a fucked up world we are in right now. And sending love to all you guys. Thank you for the support. And we'll see you down the road, okay? Won't be long. Cheers.